Creative Magic Club. What's up? This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a six-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, Sarah Mack here from withsarahmack.com and welcome back to the Creative Magic Club podcast. Today, I am going to pull back the curtain and give you a sneak peek behind my process of going through a rebrand in my business. So I'm not following any formula or I am working with a coach, but I feel like when other people talk about going through a rebrand, they kind of plan everything behind the scenes and then they do a big reveal. And that's absolutely not the way that I'm doing it. So, and I'm also bringing my astrology into it. So I wanted to just share my process in kind of like the messy middle, because I'm sure many of you will relate to a lot of the things that I'm feeling and will hopefully find some inspired ideas to, reach that next level of alignment and self-expression in your brand so that you can really stand out to people that get you and that want to work with you for you. So again, the subtext of this conversation, as always on this podcast, is permission to do it in your own way, because that's really the only way you're ever going to do it, to be honest with you. So stop trying to force yourself into an idea of what you think you should be doing and, let it unfold. Let it be a creative process and let yourself be the author of that. No expectations. And let it be fun. So the concept of a black sheep is something I've been thinking a lot about lately and just crops up a lot in conversations with friends, with clients. And we're all black sheep over here in this corner of the internet, right? And really what that means is that you're a leader. And the black sheep is the person who just doesn't comply to the status quo, wants to do things differently and has different values and wants to shake up the conversation on certain things. And it also means that you're kind of in a state of perpetual transition. So I think in the world of online marketing and branding and business, there's very much this idea that you're going to get there. You're going to land on the perfect, here's who I help statement, and you're going to land on the perfect tagline and title and ideal client avatar. And the truth is, unless you decide to lock in one very specific way of doing things, which absolutely no problem with that, if that feels good to you. If you are a very, constantly evolving human, if you're constantly doing work on yourself, you're constantly obsessed with growth and you are learning lessons and learning new skills and getting to new levels in your own life and business and work, then you're probably going to evolve the type of client that you're really excited to work with. And that's one of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur, and is, the case for many of the clients that I work with, is their desires evolve. Like, I feel this is a very normal and natural human thing. So learning to be able to do that gracefully while being able to maintain a consistent income in your business and brand is really, really important. So you never get that feeling that you're stuck in doing things in a certain way, and that you can evolve and you can do things differently. And I do believe that, when you lead with authentic storytelling, people come along for the ride. And yeah, absolutely, when you pivot and you maybe shift the conversation that you're having and the ways that you're helping clients, there may be people that will drop off, but there'll always be some people that will want to come along for that ride. And especially when your business model is around selling high ticket coaching, you don't need that many clients to be hitting pretty decent income goals. So don't be afraid of evolving. Don't be afraid of leaving people behind. So I've been feeling in a big transition in my own life. For those of you who've been following along, I moved to LA last August and my partner finished his medical residency, which was literally the worst 4 years of our entire freaking life in New York during the pandemic. It was brutal. It was really hard on him. It was really hard on me. There's a whole lot of other layers to that story, which I'm not going to go into today, but let's just say our life has done a complete 180 and now we live by the beach in LA. Life is great. Life is definitely not perfect, but so many things have changed. And so I've really been reflecting on how I am changing and how my identity is changing. And, we're in a different phase of life. I'm in a different phase of life and looking at kind of how to articulate that in my business and what that looks like, what is my new identity? Because I'm feeling that a large part of my old identity is something that I've definitely left behind. So I'm just going to walk you through my experience and my process in the messy middle of this conversation with myself in my business. Maybe you'll relate to some of these things. So it was really helpful to just sit down and look at kind of like the before and after of what I feel has changed for me lately. And one of the big ones since landing here in LA has been, before, a big part of my identity in my business and as an entrepreneur was being a digital nomad. I was traveling around the world. Like, that was one of the reasons why I started my business in the first place, because I love to travel. I really wanted to see the world. Like, one of my dreams and desires at one point in my life was to visit every single country in the world. And I visited 18 countries since becoming an entrepreneur, way more than that since, I started traveling when I was a teenager. And now I'm very much in the phase where I don't even want to get on a freaking plane. I want to stay at home. I want to take care of my body and my health. I'm in like the nesting phase. I want to plant seeds in the yard. I want to, grow a strong community here after just traveling so much. That was one of the biggest burdens, honestly, was not having a consistent in-person community. And I've definitely managed to find that very quickly in a lot of places. Being in New York during the pandemic made that very challenging, and living far away in the Bronx when all of my friends lived in Brooklyn, which literally took like an hour and a half to get to. I was very isolated during that time, which now I can see there was a divine reason behind that and I needed to go through that. Again, that's another story. But now I'm really excited about, that was one of my prerequisites when my partner begged me to move to the West Coast. I was like, I'm an East Coast girl. I just don't want to live on the West Coast again. I lived in Vancouver for 5 summers and I just feel like I'm more of an East Coast girl. And he was like, please. And I was like, okay, fine, let's go. But I'm living walking distance from the beach and I'm moving to somewhere where I already know a few people because I'm not building community over from scratch again. So now I live 10 minutes walk from the beach. I live in a community that I love and I'm really focused on building community here and I'm loving it. And I'm just meeting so many amazing people, building so many meaningful friendships and meeting people who just align with my values. And it's the best freaking thing. And I'm like, why would I leave? I don't need to get on a plane. Everything that I need is here. And this is the first time I felt this way in quite a few years. So I'm really happy about that. So that's something that's changed for me, and I had to start changing the way that I was talking about that in my language, in my messaging, because that was one of my main results. One of my main achievements was I lived out my dream. I traveled. I got the freedom to travel. I, could take my business anywhere. I could jump on a plane whenever I wanted. I created that freedom for myself. And I definitely don't take that for granted because I still do it. I can go and leave and go on a trip anytime I want to. If someone wants to go away or plan a trip, I can do it. I can bring my phone and I can take care of what needs to, be taken care of in my business from anywhere that I want to. And I really, I'm still so grateful for that. But it didn't feel good to me to continuing to be celebrating like that as one of my main results when that's not really what I want anymore. So, I've just been having these conversations with myself internally and just looking at kind of like the repetitive pieces of my messaging that I have identified with and looking where that needs to shift so that it's in alignment for where I am now. And there's nothing wrong with me talking about that or talking about that in content from the past, because I'm sure there's a ton of clients who would love to work with me who want that and who want to have that experience. And I'm so grateful that I have had that experience, and maybe I will be in the zone where I want to travel again, and I can still do that if I want to. So this is just a very nuanced conversation around feeling really in alignment with my brand. And another thing that I've been through, obviously, is a ton of health stuff, but now I'm well, I'm healthy. Like, thank God, I'm so grateful. I had long COVID for 15 months and started to feel better a few months ago. And in the past in my business, I had chronic fatigue for 5 years. I had burnout. I've been in the depths of healing CPTSD from childhood sexual trauma. And, it's not like suddenly everything's better, but I am in a phase of really great health. And so I'm not like, that's not a part of the conversation anymore. I'm not thinking about having bad health, even though obviously prioritizing health is a conversation for myself every single day. And there is ongoing care that I'm committed to at a baseline, but I'm in a different zone now. I'm vibrantly healthy. I'm building my strength back, and I'm focused on having babies and becoming a mom. And yet I'm not one. So again, I'm in that kind of like in between phase and transition. That's like, well, I'm really focused on this thing, but I'm not that thing yet. So what do I talk about? Same thing with becoming an author. I've written a book. I'm in the final stages of editing, but I haven't published it yet. So I'm not an author yet. So I'm kind of in that in between transition phase of these new identities that I'm stepping into. And it feels like a lot is shifting on every level. And there's a lot that isn't clear. Something else that's changed is my relationship with money. Like, in the past, I was a hot mess, tons of debts, really anxious, overspending, massive resistance to adulting and admin and financial organization, doing so much in-depth healing work around my worth and claiming the prices that I wanted to be charging, and valuing my creativity and believing people would pay for it, and really making money like by the seat of my pants with creative idea after creative idea without really having a long-term strategy, making a ton of money and then spending it as fast as it came in. And I'm in a new era now. I've got my shit together way more than I did before. I'm paying down my debts. I'm saving. I'm investing regularly. I'm making money in really aligned, sustainable, supportive ways. I'm organized. I'm a lot more strategic in my long-term planning, and still not amazing at this, but considerably better than I was, and following a calendar in my business and following a quarterly planning process, really knowing what it takes for me to follow through on projects and prioritizing projects without being a hot mess and kind of half-assing 50 projects and not really seeing them through to a result. And this is again a muscle that I'm still working on training, but learning how to put pause on things so that on some projects so that I can really focus on finishing others. And I feel like that's just something that I'm always going to be in negotiation with as a creative person who wants to do so many things. So these are all very much personal, behind the scenes shifts. But in my business, I'm still doing, there are definitely things that are changing and evolving in my business, but the heart of the work that I help clients with is still the same. I help clients make more money. I help clients have 5-figure and 6-figure launches, grow to 6-figure years, doing work that they love by helping them with their messaging, their content strategy, and their money mindset. The new thing is the astrology. Even though I've been doing it for several years at this point, it still feels like a new element, and I'm just stepping into it in more and more deep ways. And it's another layer of the same work, which obviously it's a small pivot, which is going, and I feel like everyone that I've worked with still would fall under the umbrella of the clients that I work with now, but maybe not, there's definitely that other level of specificity that now my soulmate clients love astrology and people who don't love astrology probably aren't going to want to work with me. And I'm really, through this modality, I felt for a long time that I wanted a modality. Like, I take pride in the fact that I have 0 certifications and training in business and coaching, because it just goes to show how much you can achieve and how much you can really help people when you have embodied wisdom around something and you know how to sell it and you know how to deliver it with impact. And I've taken so many freaking coaching programs that I'm probably, very qualified for a quote unquote coaching certification. And I do believe that people just call anything certifications these days. And I also believe that we use them as a crux. And it's just the patriarchy brainwashing us into believing that we need a piece of paper and we need somebody else's permission before we consider ourselves good at something. When really, I believe, and this is really the work I do with clients, the real work is getting so clear on the value that you already embody and that you already bring, because we all have that. And that's really the work. Bringing more of my intuitive magic and bringing in this skill and this vibe into my brand and figuring out how to do that. This was one of those things that I'd been wanting a modality. I was like, I want some type of a tool that can just add to what I'm already doing with clients and make it even more powerful, like breathwork or EFT or hypnosis or, any of these tools, which I think are really, really powerful, but I just didn't have the desire to train in that. I didn't have that draw or that excitement to build any of these, potentially very compatible tools and skill sets. And then I don't know where it just came out of left field and I was suddenly obsessed with astrology. And this really became my tool as a way to just have more, well, it's a tool, it's a skill set to be able to help people even more on an individual level and to be able to tailor my existing skills and gifts and talents and experience very, very quickly to each individual person that I work with and to help them find what's right for them quickly without trying to impose, cookie cutter strategies on people, which is like one of the main reasons people say that they love working with me, because I don't do that. I really help people to find what is right for them and what's in alignment with them, because ultimately I know that's what's going to work, rather than trying to force yourself to do something that isn't actually in alignment for you. That's never going to be sustainable. So yeah, that's another big change. I've also gained weight. So it felt weird to be using my old branding photos, which I absolutely love, that I got in, the last ones I got in 2020. That was 4 years ago. Oh my God, it's a long time. And I still use them and I still love them. And there's nothing wrong with me using them. But I just wanted to feel authenticity is a value in my brand. So I have to feel like what I'm sharing day to day is an authentic representation of who I am now. But then I was stuck in this place of, okay, I need a new photo shoot. But I got rid of all of my clothes in New York. I now live in a completely different environment. We live in Mexico now. Like, it's called America, but let's be honest, it's Mexico. It's the edge of the desert. It's fucking hot. It's by the beach. It's sunny all the time. It's very different to living in New York in the Four Seasons. And it's a different style here. It's a different lifestyle here. It's, I'm much more connected to nature. I live by the beach. So I'm going hiking way more. So I knew that I would need a new wardrobe, but I just didn't know. I felt like I wanted to start dressing differently to mark this new chapter, because it's a new era and I'm feeling different and I want to look different to mark that. So in my head, I was having this conversation of like, oh, well, I'm not that like old version of Sarah anymore. So I shouldn't dress like her. I should dress like this new version for me, but I don't know who this new version is yet. So I don't know how to dress. And I was just getting in my head about it. And so I didn't have any new clothes. So I couldn't have a photo shoot. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to share what I did. That has helped me to have a breakthrough around this. That's helped me to feel really excited about my self-expression in my brand. Basically, I used my astrology chart. So I've been really heavily diving into my chart and just really checking my business alignment from every angle. And one of the areas that I've been really exploring and leaning into is my Venus placement, which is in Cancer. So Venus is all about how we make money. It's also our brand voice. And my Venus is in Cancer, which is all about like the mother and nurturing. So I've been unpacking a lot of just stories of resistance around stepping into that. A lot of fears I had around becoming a mother, around, having to fears around having to give up my creativity, not having time to pursue all of my projects when I become a mom, falling into the invisible identity category of our capitalistic patriarchal society that just does not value mothers at the level that they need to be valued and respected and cared for, especially in America, where the social systems barely exist. Dealing with a lot of that, asking myself how I can feel safe to nurture another being when it feels like a constant battle out here. of carving out space for my authentic self in a world that doesn't get it or resists it, that black sheep syndrome, as I'm sure many of you identify with. So what I did was I made a mood board on Pinterest. And I just started Googling like Venus in Cancer, seeing what was coming up, thinking about themes based in water, based in like nurturance and comfort and safety and creativity. And I showed it to my coach and she was like, there's a lot of women wearing white in this. And that was just one of the themes that came up. She was like, are you going to start wearing more white? Because right now on your feed, you're wearing really like bright colored things. And I was like, no, I'm not going to start wearing white. White is the one color I do not wear because it gets stains on it. And I always get stains on my clothes. And as much as I wish I was adulting to the level where I don't get stains on my clothes, this is just the reality. And let's be honest, if I'm planning on having children, I can't see myself getting any cleaner anytime soon. So that was a great piece of clarity for me. And okay, I'll go into exploring things outside of your regular day wear for creative expression in a moment. But my philosophy is that, number one, I always want to feel good in what I'm wearing, and I want to feel me in what I'm wearing. And what I know about myself is like I do struggle to shop and to pick out things that look good on me and that I like wearing and that I'm comfortable in. But I have this intuitive pull towards colorful things, which you've probably noticed if you've been following me for a while. And it has to be comfortable. As someone who's worked, had a work from home lifestyle for more than 8 years at this point, just don't try and put a hard waistband on me. Don't try and put anything on me that doesn't allow me to lunge or squat or curl up in a ball or take a nap without feeling uncomfortable. I know these things about myself, and I know that when I pick out an item of clothing and it's not a color that I like, I don't feel good in it. The shift that I landed on, okay, so going back with this information, I was like, okay, let's just start a new mood board that is clothing that I'm inspired by. Oh yeah, this was the other part of my identity crisis, is the shift in fashion from tight-leg jeans, tight-leg pants to wide-legged pants. I had so much resistance around this. Then I saw all the hate, and I know this is like, you definitely shouldn't decide what to wear based on the trends and hate on when you are old-fashioned. But I was like, I don't want my brand to look like it's an old fuddy-duddy. Like, I don't want the younger generations to look at me and be like, oh, she's like old and dated. Maybe that's a superficial thing to care about, but I care about it. So I got some baggy trousers, which they were super long and they started getting all muddy, and I had to hem them, and I was kind of mad about it, but whatever. I'm not against it. I do love the flares. I love the flared pants. I got some flared leopard yoga pants, and I'm like, this is my meeting the fashion trend with something that I'm excited about. So, just going out and shopping and buying some things, trying, playing, experimenting, getting out there. I have found a few pieces that I'm like, no, I feel really good on this. This feels like a new era for me. It feels different. It feels fresh. And it also feels really, really me. So getting a couple of those pieces kind of helped to lead me in a new direction. And then I built out a new mood board with some just, once you pick a couple of things out or you put in a couple of keywords. Oh yeah, I did some journaling. I created some prompts for myself around like what feels really good, what I feel good in, what are some pieces that I'm interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. Are you wondering which parts of your story to focus on in your content to attract ready-to-buy soulmate clients? Do you wish you had clear sales page copy for your high-ticket offer with a stash of social media posts that lead to easy sales that fill your offer on repeat month after month? Do you wish it felt so easy and natural to talk about how you help people when you get interested clients popping up in your inbox? I can help you. In a 90-minute private coaching intensive together, we'll focus on the most important changes you can start making in your messaging to attract more paying clients into your offers. During our time together, we'll make sure your offer is actually targeted at the kinds of clients you really want to be working with. We'll tighten up your messaging or write it from scratch if we need to, and we'll map out a feel-good launch plan to start filling it up with amazing clients. You'll come away with powerful copy targeted at the kinds of clients who are truly ready to buy your offer and do the work, with a clear step-by-step action plan to start connecting with the right kinds of clients tailored to your strengths and audience. No cookie-cutter approaches here. Plus, clarity on your own story and which parts to share to attract the right people, with a list of content topics and a few solid pieces of sales content that you can start sharing to make sales right away. Clients who have done my intensive have gone on to get 20 applications within 48 hours of hitting publish on their new sales page, tripled their workshop signups, designed and launched new exciting offers, raised their offer price above 5 figures, and signed new dreamy clients into their high-ticket offer within days. To chat about how we can use our time together to start welcoming more amazing clients into your world, message me the word intensive either over on Instagram at Creative Magic Club or to my email, sarah@withsarahmac.com. That I could add that would complement what I already had, because I also, I don't believe in fast fashion. I really resist buying things that aren't thrifted or secondhand or from environmentally conscious brands. And occasionally I will do it, but I hate doing it, and it's against my values, and I really want to become the person who never contributes to, the fast fashion industries where they're producing clothing in facilities that use child slave labor, which I know is the reality for a lot of high street brands. So this is another internal conflict that's been going on for me. And I also don't want to spend loads and loads of money on like boutique independent designers, because I ruin clothes really quickly. I'm always running around on the mountains at the weekend. I'm sitting in the dirt. I'm rolling around on the beach, and I don't want to ruin expensive things. So thrifting really is my sweet spot, and I'm super happy when I find high street items in the thrift store, because I do love a lot of the styles and the colors, but I don't like supporting the companies that have these awful production practices. So anyway, I found some inspiration in a new mood board, which was, I specifically focused on style and clothing items, and I came to the conclusion that my new era is bright pastels and neon. So I'm still wearing the bright colors, but I love bright pink and I love yellow, and those have been my colors for a long time, but I just need to feel like I have an evolved expression, because I feel different now from when I started my business and develop that branding. And, some people rebrand way more frequently than I do. And it's been a long time. And I really don't believe that you need to put a lot of time. I've been making great money and serving clients, and it isn't, a necessity. This was just something that I wanted to do for my own self-expression. And I know that it will, speak to clients in a new way and attract people in different ways than I had been exploring before. And I am really focused on building my brand and growing my platform, especially with the launch of my book coming up. So this is the phase that I'm in. And I hope that sharing this process has been helpful for you. This is kind of like the style journey that I've been on. And even though I still get like tons of compliments on things that I've been putting together, it's that finding that place of feeling really good within myself, of like, oh yeah, this feels like this next version of me. And maybe I'm just in a big transition right now, and that next version of me hasn't fully landed. But as long as I feel good right now, and I've actually found that going shopping and buying some new items that are super colorful has been really helpful in kind of getting me out of my head around this and just feeling good in the way that I've expressed myself and been showing up. So yeah, I had some clothes and I did a little home photo shoot because I just wanted some fresh images, because I hired a new graphic designer who's also really into astrology. So she's really been able to capture that magical element in my graphics, which I'm super happy about. And I just needed some updated images to go with the updated graphics. And so, I spent less than $100 on new clothes in a thrift store on a trip up to Ojai. We stopped in Ventura on the way back at a Buffalo exchange. And I got some pieces that I'm really obsessed with and just a little home photo shoot in my garden. And I'm planning, some other photo shoots to do with a photographer. And I just, think it gets to be that simple. We can do home photo shoots. We can buy colors that we love. And I'm a big believer in capturing your real life and also playing with big creative self-expression if it's fun for you. Like, I love to go out and I've done other photo shoots where I've bought really crazy items that I would never wear in my day-to-day, but I had so much fun wearing them. But if you don't want to spend the time and the money and the energy to do a big photo shoot, like, selfies all the way, baby. That's I have built the majority of my business on selfies at home. Like, you don't need to, I didn't wear makeup for several years in my business because I wasn't into wearing makeup. Then I was into wearing makeup and I wore makeup again. So just know whatever feels good to you is the right way. And that is your authentic self-expression is what your clients want. So, the way this has been integrating into other aspects of my business, I've been slowly rebranding my offers to bring more of that astrology magic into them as I develop those new ways of doing that with my clients behind the scenes. So my images are becoming more magical. The vocabulary is becoming more magical. I'm introducing words like cosmic. Like, I'm more excited about it. This is the main benefit of all of this work, is that I am more excited about it. And when I'm excited about it, the clients I attract in this phase of my business are super excited about the astrology and what I'm excited about too, which just makes it more fun. So honestly, I do believe you can have the most simple, basic, like shitty, unskilled branding and you can make a fuck ton of money because number one, I did it in the beginning of my business. Number two, I've seen it done multiple times over. But I do believe having the website and the branding and the images and the graphics, the biggest benefit of all of these things is that it feels fun for you to share. Because the more fun it feels for you to share, the better you're going to be at selling. And that's the simple fact of it. So do not feel that you have to do all of these things that I've shared. And, other things I'm working on behind the scenes. My new Instagram bio, again, not a big deal. It's the message, it's the content. It's the storytelling. That's really what leads to sales. But I'm thinking about this because I'm getting ready to launch my book. That's obviously a product that I want to have a wider reach in my audience. It's a lower cost product. It has the capacity to impact far more people than my coaching offers right now. I think that's really what's just inspiring this shift for me. And another thing is I'm growing my audience through guest podcasting. And in, the reach out work I've been doing, I've come across some really big names. And what that kind of shifts me to think about is, what are these people seeing? These people who would be dream collaborators, potential collaborators. How can I align my branding with people that I would want to be excited about saying yes to collaborating with me? That to me makes it worth putting in the effort in. If I can collaborate with people who I'm really inspired to collaborate with and just making sure that it's really clear what my magic is when people land on my page. So it's okay to be in the messy middle. We don't have to be perfect. We're always going to be evolving and we can still serve clients and be making great money as we evolve. So, it's really our excitement, our clarity and our communication, clarity in communicating our results, the benefits for your client. This is what matters the most when it comes to making money. The rest is fun. The rest is creative play and self-expression, which definitely has value, but don't get distracted about your priorities. So if you know that you haven't quite got it locked in yet with messaging that is making you money on repeat, then I invite you to come and play and experience some of my newly expressed magic in the Cosmic Brand Story Intensive, where I'm going to dive into your chart and we're going to get you really, really clear on what your magic is and how to talk about it for the clients who are going to eat that shit up and be so excited to work with you. And inside my 3-month private mentorship, high ticket soul clients, now every client is getting a custom astrology report with I'm going to go through all of your most important placements, create custom content prompts and money alignment prompts. And we're going to use that to really work off to develop all of your content for your messaging strategy in your next launch. Yeah, I'm pretty freaking excited about the curriculum that I'm developing for my 3-month program. which really is going to bring you a deep understanding of your unique magic using your astrology chart to create and package offerings that get filled up with soul clients as if by magic when you lead with those parts of your story that really stand out and communicate what it is that you bring. So this offer is filling up and I'm constantly putting my prices up. I'm in rapid evolution in my business now. Expect things to be shifting. And I've got some other really exciting big plans for the rest of this year. So do stay tuned and stay tuned for some very exciting upcoming workshops. But make moves now. Reach out to me. Let's chat. Let's book a session. And if you know somebody who would love this podcast, who would love this episode, please, please, please share it with them to help support this work so that I can continue doing it, I can continue supporting you, and we can continue growing and sharing and spreading the magic together. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful that you're here. Please leave a review if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. Bye.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.
I'm interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. Are you wondering which parts of your story to focus on in your content to attract ready-to-buy soulmate clients? Do you wish you had clear sales page copy for your high-ticket offer with a stash of social media posts that lead to easy sales that fill your offer on repeat month after month? Do you wish it felt so easy and natural to talk about how you help people when you get interested clients popping up in your inbox? I can help you. In a 90-minute private coaching intensive together, we'll focus on the most important changes you can start making in your messaging to attract more paying clients into your offers. During our time together, we'll make sure your offer is actually targeted at the kinds of clients you really want to be working with. We'll tighten up your messaging or write it from scratch if we need to, and we'll map out a feel-good launch plan to start filling it up with amazing clients. You'll come away with powerful copy targeted at the kinds of clients who are truly ready to buy your offer and do the work, with a clear step-by-step action plan to start connecting with the right kinds of clients tailored to your strengths and audience. No cookie-cutter approaches here. Plus, clarity on your own story and which parts to share to attract the right people, with a list of content topics and a few solid pieces of sales content that you can start sharing to make sales right away. Clients who have done my intensive have gone on to get 20 applications within 48 hours of hitting publish on their new sales page, tripled their workshop signups, designed and launched new exciting offers, raised their offer price above 5 figures, and signed new dreamy clients into their high-ticket offer within days. To chat about how we can use our time together to start welcoming more amazing clients into your world, message me the word intensive either over on Instagram at Creative Magic Club or to my email sarah@withsarahmac.com.